a very brief talk about how Sparsity, a small startup that I founded, try to use AI to automate itself. Uh, I mean, from this talk, you will get one data point to see how the thinking and action of a specific startup trying to, automate itself. It's not easy. When we try to, look at different tasks in the company, at one hand, AI is the super powerful tool, but on the other hand, when you apply it in the reality, there's cracks everywhere. You're building on a moving platform. There's also a lot of open questions, and we're essentially building while learning and exploring. Uh, one thing I think is a little unique about our applying of AI is we specifically try to apply AI to automate the task that we are not great at. For example, like marketing, sales, things like, because we are technical founders, and our weakness is on marketing, those side, and we specifically try to apply AI to do those, which makes a lot of sense, because if you think about it, AI is very good on coming up with an answer that is good enough, but sometimes not good, not better than expert in the field. So we specifically focus on that part. And this whole talk is also a call for collaboration. We won't pretend to figure everything out. Every morning we wake up with new ideas to use AI, which is why this journey is extremely fun. Like any AI applications, a deep understanding of the use case is very important, which is why in this talk I'll dive frequently into the nature of startup, the charms and challenges of it. And I also want to clarify that this is an opinionated talk. Sorry, I don't know. Opinionated talk, and this is really just opinion of my own, and it's not representing any organization. Of course, I founded Sparsity. You can think this is the Sparsity view as well. But I also is a co-contributor to MassGen, but please don't mistake this, my view, as the MassGen's view. So a little bit about myself. I'm a computer science, trained as a computer scientist, participating in some programming competition, worked in a bunch of large companies, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google. My research is in parallel computing, machine learning, and brain science. And I also teach cryptography in a university in Singapore. The company I started is a seed stage crypto and AI startup. It's backed by A16Z, and we are a 5% team. So like for people who are like who have startup experience or curious about startup, I think startup is really have three phases. It has a research phase, a business phase, and a finance phase. In the research phase, you're really trying to figure out like what you want to build. You want to test and eventually figure out a product that the market is willing to buy, and you can produce at a cost that is lower than the price you can sell. So that's a research phase. It's not that different from researching in a university, in a pharmaceutical company. Essentially, you're exploring. You're looking for this thing that you can really build. And then the business phase, you're scaling that thing. Because one person will buy it, 10%, then 100%. How do you scale this to as many people as possible? That's the business phase. And the last phase is financial finance phase, which is when you IPO, you got bought, like basically stakeholders get financial reward. So that's essentially pretty much like the three phases of a startup. I think one of the, like when you're founding a company, so I've been building a startup for 2 years. I think that one of the biggest challenge I can experience as a founder is mostly on human limitation. As a founding team, usually you are either good on business or technical capabilities. It's super rare to find a team or person that is good on both. And when you have a team of people from different backgrounds, there's also inherent work to unite people in the team. And so that's one side. And the other side is also on human bandwidth. Like you have limited attention, and you have limited like attention to memory as well. And sometimes also, people need motivation to work. I'll talk about that later on, which make AI a very natural tool to help with the startup to scale and operate, if it is not only help. So during our applying of AI, we pay a lot of attention to how do we frame AI, essentially how do we see the future of AI, because the startup is something that we need to we need something that works now. We are not. I want to clarify that we are not exactly building AI product to sell to other company. We are using AI to automate our own workflow. Therefore, it has to work today. Like we are not interested in AI that might work in the future. It has to work today. Therefore, we have a pretty practical view on AI in the company. So specifically, we try to characterize it with like upper bound and lower bound. On the lower bound, we see AI has tremendous leverage. It can mitigate a lot of human limitation like memory, bandwidth, and motivation. But on the other upper bound, we also are pretty realistic to see that AI is not singularity, is not going to replace human. Human has to be in the driver's seat when we apply AI. So I find this kind of framing is very useful in our daily application of AI. Of course, like I might be wrong. Maybe half a year later, we find that AI can truly be autonomous. But at this moment, our belief is still that it's bounded by both this upper and lower. And so this is, I'll talk about two parts of this talk. The first part, I will talk about the framing of AI. And the second part, we'll talk more about how do we apply AI with some examples. So I also do a brief review of the history of technology. There's many technical breakthrough in the human history, and almost all of them start with a utility that's very useful, and there's some gold rush, and then some catastrophe, and then because of the catastrophe, there's regulation. After regulation coming in, there's maturity. And I would say AI is still in the initial utility and gold rush phase. It has not gone through the later stages, which is shown in this graph. So this is our first assumption is that this is both our assumption and also belief, which is that AI, like any other technical breakthrough, is not going to overshadow everything else. Like none of the technical breakthrough in human history has overshadowed all other technical breakthroughs. And every single technical breakthrough, like electricity, cars, internet, has roughly doubled the global GDP. So that's our basic assumption here. I mean, again, I could be wrong. And AI, just like a stock, also have a bear market and bull market, right? Like in the 80s, it was very hot. Then in the 2000, it was bear market, and now it's hot again. So if you think about the infinite 1,000 years, of course, AI is going to be powerful. But if you're looking about the next 5 to 20 years, how powerful that it will be, and this is our view. So then, exactly what is AI? If we don't think AI can completely replace the human as a driver, so this is our current framing of AI, which is it's a super leveraged, it's very high leverage human-machine interface. If you think about that, the global civilization today is already heavily built on machines. We have internet, we have email, we have search engine, we have e-commerce. So in some sense, today's economy is already heavily digitized, built on machine. And on top of that, I find AI to be a very high leverage tool to interact with this machine, this global machinery. It's not only can tolerate a great amount of like fuzziness and error, very error tolerant. It can also interface with unstructured data. It can interact with different languages, including machine languages. So personally, I think this is a good way to think about AI. At one hand, it has very high leverage. On the other hand, I see it as an interface to interact with the existing internet and other infrastructure. Specifically in the context of startup execution, I think AI can address 3 specific limitations of humans. One is the branching factor. Like in some large company, like in Google or Microsoft, there are probably more than 10 levels of hierarchy in the company. And if you ask why do we need so many hierarchies, because every person can only effectively manage probably 10 people. And in order to build 100,000 company, you have to have this large hierarchy. And those hierarchy come with incredible overhead. With AI, we has the hope to dramatically increase the bandwidth of single human and branching factor. And there's also memory improvement and motivation as well. I really like this article. It's a little vague at the bottom. It's a great article talk about the complexity of motivating people in a workspace. And AI does not need that motivation at all. I recommend you to read that article. And if you think about like historically, like email also is a tool that dramatically increased the human's branching factor. Search engine is a innovation that dramatically increased humans' memory. So I don't need to memorize so many things. I can just search for it. Right. So, and I think AI is another innovation that gonna dramatically mitigate some of the human limitation. So now I'm gonna briefly talk about our mental model of how a startup operates. Again, this is an idea I really like. I got from this article, if you see at the bottom, called Secrets of Successful Strategy Execution. This article beautifully model any company, big or small, in two simple things. One is information flow, one is decision rights. It basically argues that the architecture of any company's organization can be break down into two components. One is how does the information flow in the company, who have access to what information, how long does the information travel to the front line, to the CEO, for example, and so that's the one aspect, how information flow. The other critical aspect is who have rights, authority to make decision on what. For example, the CEO can decide a lot of things, but the CEO have limited bandwidth, so a lot of decisions need to be made by other people, but the really critical decision also need to be escalated. So once you get these two parts designed and also clarified, you essentially has the architecture for the company. And this applies to any kind of organization, big or small as well. In a small startup, we also have this kind of designing and architectural work to do. So this is the baseline. And on top of that, we are applying AI to automate. And here are the 4 principles we are using AI to automate. One is that we use AI maximally to improve the information flow. The AI can do whatever it wants as long as it's just transfer information from one place to the other. And this also includes AI reflecting on memory to think about, like every morning, AI will bring all the information in database and look at it, saying, oh, how can we improve things? So that is all part of the information flow. And the second part is that human will always in the driver's seat. All the important decisions need to be submitted to the human to approval. There's no critical decision that can be made by AI at this point in our automation. And the third one is that there's a human feedback loop. Anytime the human sees something wrong, the human will just reply to that. I will show you later, we have a few interface for doing that. And when the human does the feedback, it will also brainstorm with the AI. And the human's feedback, some of that will be directly vibe coded into code, and some of the feedback will just store as data to feed into the future AI workflow, the AI information flow. And last but not least, everything is vibe coded. We're not doing any human coding, just everything is vibe coded. So here is because due to time limitation, I cannot show everything we built. So here is a simple flow that the AI pull. This is the marketing agent. AI pulls data from the Twitter and look at the Twitter and draft the reply on behalf of the company, then send to the Slack. We're heavily leveraging Slack as our primary operating desk for AI agents. And the human will click approve and post button, then will be posted on Twitter, then someone engaged. So this is a super simple workflow. And at the same time, the human can also put some feedback, again, in the Slack chat channel, chat thread, say, oh, this reply is not good enough. You need to improve this way. Then the AI will just simply record that into the database. So that next time the AI generates the reply, it will get smarter. So this is like just one of the example. I'll just end the talk now, and we are hiring agentic programmers to help us building on this. We believe that AI is an iterative process. Once we build something every morning, we'll come with new ideas to automate it. and you can find my contact information on the right. Yeah, thanks everyone. And if there's any questions, I can also take them.